How's it going, Weebs? Today we are trying something new on this channel. Hope you like it, and it may help you to recall all the stuff happened in Season 1 of Dr. Stone. Sorry if the pronunciation of character's name is wrong. First let us check all the characters who were present in Season 1. So let's start the video without any further ado. Here is a recap of all the episodes and a brief summary of Dr. Stone. Following 5 years of fixation, Teiji is going to admit to his affection to individual understudy, Yuzuriha. Out of nowhere a green light moves each human on the planet towards Stone, and after 3,700 years, nature has dominated. Teiji figures out how to break liberated from his detainment. Subsequent to finding the tree that Yuzuriha's frozen state is in, he before long gets together with his virtuoso companion Senku, who had woken a half-year sooner. As the main two people liberated from Stone, Senku looks to modify progress in this stone world utilizing his insight into science and Teiju's muscle to assist him with building up a needle arrangement out of a marva water produced using baguano that might liberate individuals from their froze state. Following a time of advancement, the two companions figure out how to make a fruitful mix of revivable fluid. Senku and Teiju plan enough revivable fluid to liberate one individual from Stone, with Teiju picking Yuzuriha to be first subject. Be that as it may, they are abruptly pursued by a gathering of hungry lions, driving them to rather resuscitate the most grounded contender in their town, Tsukasa Shishio, to fend them off. Tsukasa murdered the male lion and skins it to add to his clothing. As Tsukasa ends up being a significant tracker, giving food to the threesome, Senku relegates Teiju with gathering shells and pound them into calcium carbonate as an initial move towards propelling development. Nonetheless, Tsukasa uncovers to Senku his aim to kill froze grown-ups to make a world liberated from degenerate grown-ups, conflicting with Senku's goals of restoring everybody. Mindful of Tsukasa's lethal goal, Senku sends him away to the wellspring of the revivable fluid while he and Teiju make a group of revivable fluid to at long last resuscitate Yuzuriha. Requiring weapons of science to stop Tsukasa's homicide bench, Senku and the others start going towards Hakone, with Yuzuriha figuring out how to locate the Great Buddha of Kamakura to fill in as a milestone. The threesome ultimately show up at a volcanic natural aquifer, giving Senku the way to make gunpowder. After Senku makes a fruitful clump of gunpowder, which Teiju inadvertently sets land, the gathering spot an alternate wellspring of smoke somewhere far off, recommending that there are different survivors. Senku settles on the choice to light the gunpowder further to use as a smoke signal, driving Tsukasa to discover him and use Yuzuriha as a prisoner to acquire the formula for the revivable fluid. As Senku gives up the formula to spare Yuzuriha and is given the decision of either surrendering science or kicking the bucket, he reviews how he built up his affection for science and became companions with Teiju. Declining to relinquish science, Senku plans to kick the bucket at Tsukasa's hands. With Senku apparently executed after Tsukasa conveys a deadly hit to his neck, Teiju and Yuzuriha utilize his gunpowder to set off a blast around Tsukasa, permitting them to get away. Understanding that Senku wouldn't just forfeit himself, Teiju and Yuzuriha find a spot of petrification staying on his neck, allowing them the chance to mend the deadly injury by utilizing the revivable fluid to turn the petrification back to solid tissue. In the interim, a flashback shows how Senku first arose out of his petrification and built up the apparatuses expected to endure. The flashback keeps demonstrating how Senku discovered Teiju and started a deal with unpetrifying him. Back in the present, Senku effectively restores on account of the revivable fluid, driving him to turn out to be more inquisitive about the fluid's regenerative properties. To this end, Senku sends Teiju and Yuzuriha to invade Tsukasa's military as spies while he looks for new partners. In the interim, a baffling young lady named Kaheku endeavors to assault Tsukasa, who traps her under a tree prior to heading towards the marva water cavern. Finding Kaheku after Tsukasa has left, Senku figures out how to utilize his science ability to make a square and tackle to lift the tree off of Kaheku. Kaheku takes Senku back to her town, where he meets monitors Kinro and Ginro and an alchemist named Chrome. In spite of the fact that Chrome's endeavors at magic neglect to substantiate himself predominant, Senku understands Chrome's divination is really the crude start of the stone world's first logical revelations. Dazzled with how far Chrome has gone ahead, his own Senku makes him his disciple. Discovering that Chrome turned into an alchemist to help Kaheku's wiped-out sister, Ruri, Senku enlightens him concerning the world that existed 3,700 years prior and chooses to assist him with building up an antimicrobial to spare Ruri. As Senku, Kaheku, and Chrome start looking for the components expected to make an antimicrobial, they are supported by another resident named Suika. Requiring more labor to transform iron sand into iron, the posse sends Saika to pick up intel on what the residents need. Discovering food to be a typical topic of the residents' needs, Senku figures out how to utilize foxtail millet to reproduce ramen to prevail upon them. During their ramen support, the pack are drawn closer by General Asajiri, a restored entertainer from Senku's time, who had been sent by Tsukasa to affirm Senku's passing yet asserts he will give a bogus report all things being equal. Utilizing the effectively finished iron, Senku exploits an unexpected tempest to transform it into amazing magnets. While Gen utilizes his road sorcery to avert a rough resident named Magma, the group utilize the magnets to assemble a force generator which they figure out how to persuade Kinro and Ginro to work, prompting the rehash of the light. While reviewing the time he was first resuscitated by Tsukasa, Gen is unexpectedly assaulted by a strange attacker, scarcely figuring out how to endure on account of phony blood packs he had insured himself with. Discovering that the guilty party was Magma, who accepted that Gen was the magician rather than Senku, Kaheku uncovers that Magma did as such to win the grand bout, a competition Kaheku has recently beaten him in to shield him from wedding Ruri and turning out to be town's senior. As Kaheku, Kinro, and Ginro train for the grand bout, Gen gives a bogus report to Tsukasa after Senku vows to make him a container of cola. Senku utilizes quartz sand to deliver glass, which he uses to make glasses for the limited Saika. Without the abilities expected to glass blow usable lab utensils, Chrome gets a gifted expert named Koseki, who can rapidly adjust to the new substance. To break in their new lab, Senku offers to make Ginro a silver lance as a component of a perilous mission. The silver lance made by Senku is uncovered to be a sensor to recognize noxious gases coming from a pool of sulfuric corrosive, which they requirement for the antitoxin. Realizing the dangers in question, Senku offers to show Chrome all that he thinks about science if he kicks the bucket, yet Chrome won't, rather proposing a tag group-style approach. While gathering the corrosive utilizing extraordinary gas veils, Chrome almost falls into the pool yet is spared by Ginro, who conquers his dread and enables the team to get a container of the corrosive. With their base fixings acquired, Senku and the others start creating different components for the antitoxin. Requiring liquor for the excess components, Senku winds up joining the others in the grand bout, which offers liquor for the victor. After showing up in the town for the grand bout, Senku is welcomed by Ruri, who seems to know his name from someplace. Magma's cohort, Mantle, abducts Saika, attaches her to a tree and discloses to Kaheku that Saika is suffocating, provoking Kaheku to run off even while knowing he's lying. As Kinro goes head-to-head against Magma in the first round, Saika, figuring out how to get away from her imprisonment and seeing Kinro battling with his vision, gives him her cover containing the focal points of her glasses, permitting him to see all the more obviously and beat Magma. Magma stunts Kinro into counseling the ref so he can assault from behind and dominate the game for himself. He at that point has Mantle toss his match against Chrome to exclude Kaheku, who neglects to get back as expected. Looked in an uneven semi-last match against Magma, Chrome utilizes his own tears with Saika's glasses to make an amplifying focal point that can light a fire. Expecting to purchase time, Gen returns and uses his witchcraft to divert Magma long enough for Chrome to burn down Magma's garments and dominate the game. Following Chrome's match, Ginro illuminates Ruri he and Senku would toss their matches so Chrome and her could be together. At the point when Ruri says she'll wed whoever wins and won't pick a side, Ginro is resolved to win against Senku and be the new boss which everybody fears. In the wake of running from Ginro, Senku utilizes Chrome's weapon to hit Ginro's crutches to dominate the game, not long before Chrome drops. Because of Chrome dropping before the last match, Senku is proclaimed as Ruri's better half, however promptly separates from her once he gets the liquor he needs. Subsequent to working throughout the night, the pack at long last total their sulfa medication and offer it to Ruri. With Ruri's ailment uncovered to be pneumonia, the sulfa drugs ends up being successful and Ruri makes a full recuperation. As much obliged, Senku is proclaimed the new head of the town, which is uncovered to be named Ishigami Village, after which Ruri uncovers that she knew about Senku previously. Ruri uncovers that she learned of Senku's name through a story passed down to her by her mom. The story discusses Senku's dad, Baya, Kyuya, who turned into a space explorer after Senku made an electric suit to assist him with finishing the swimming test for JAXA. 5 years in the wake of finishing his tests, Baya, Kyuya goes to the International Space Station, close by cosmonaut Shamil Volkov and American songstress Lillian Weinberg, joining individual team individuals Connie, Dahlia, and Yakov. During their remain, Yakuya and the team observe the wonder that transforms everybody on Earth into stone, leaving them as the main 6 people left. After Baya, Kyuya derives that the marvel started in South America. Shamil, Lillian and Connie adventure down to the surface, yet end up in the center of the sea, inciting Baya, Kyuya and the others to go down and salvage them. The 6 start living respectively on a close-by island, framing connections and bringing up kids together. As the team start to steadily pass on from pneumonia, in any case, Baya, Kyuya records the 100 tales to pass basic information down to people in the future with the expectation that Senku would one day have the option to utilize them. Back in the present, Ruri takes Senku to the town burial ground where Byakuya lies, transferring Baya, Kyuya's last message to Senku that the 100 tales are a logical present for him. A short time later, Gen cautions Senku and the others that Tsukasa and his military are coming. A gathering of Tsukasa's military, driven by a man named Hyoga, approaches the town and pounds Kinro. With Ginro reluctant to chop down the extension to the town with Kinro still on it, Senku, with the guide of Gen and Magma, persuades Hyoga's gathering that they've just delivered guns, constraining them to withdraw. After 3 days, during a tempest where guns would be inadmissible, Hyoga's group assault once more, just to find that Senku and the residents have figured out how to deliver katanas. In spite of the fact that Hyoga ends up being a groundbreaking enemy with his lance procedure, the lance breaks because of some tricky damage by Gen. Hyoga uncovers that his assault was only an interruption so his partner, Homura, could sneak in and put a match to the town, compelling the locals out from the dark. Needing to ensure the realm of science, Saika figures out how to effectively bait Hyoga's soldiers from the town and strand him and Homura over the noxious gases from the corrosive pool. Hyoga pushes 3 of his cronies off the tree where they are slaughtered by the harmful gases. Intending to assault Tsukasa's military before it becomes too large, Senku focuses on rehashing the PDA. In the interim, Hyoga reports to Tsukasa that Senku is as yet alive. Senku and Ishigami Village take a shot at the phone, wanting to finish its development by spring. To fabricate gold fibers for wiring, Senku makes a cotton treats machine to test with sugar. Senku brings cotton candy to Homura, who has been keeping an eye on the kingdom of science. Subsequent to running into defects making fibers, Senku builds up a stuffed train for the cotton sweets machine, motivating Chrome to develop a water wheel with Kaseki. Utilizing the new water wheel, Senku motorizes the iron-making cycle, opening up the townspeople to get ready for winter. Then, Senku, Chrome, and Kaseki start growing lights, permitting them to observe Christmas by enlivening a tree. Chrome utilizes the new development to investigate further in caverns, where he finds a large group of new minerals. Senku and Kaseki endeavor to make a vacuum tube, however they can't discover a fiber that can withstand the warmth. During a New Year's dawn, Senku gets motivation from Saika and acknowledges tungsten is simply the arrangement and utilizes Chrome and Magma on a spelunking campaign. In the quest for tungsten, Senku, Chrome, and Magma search a close-by cavern. Subsequent to experiencing a mica vein, Magma attempts to spare Senku from falling into a sinkhole, yet both at last are caught. Chrome spares them both by topping the sinkhole off with water. The three hastily return back to the town subsequent to experiencing a store rich with minerals to cause it so as to observe Senku's birthday. While the three were gone, Gen and the town construct an observatory for Senku. Senku divulges the heap of tungsten for conclusive arrangement. Subsequent to being squashed into a fine powder, it should be warmed at a very high temperature for it to get usable. While Senku prepares the tungsten powder, he charges Chrome and Kaseki to make a strategy for pinpoint high-temperature warming utilizing all that they have learned since Senku's appearance in the town. When the tungsten fiber is made, everybody parts into gatherings to finish the excess assignments. Saika and her companions wrap up twining the gold wire, Senku and Chrome make the important plastic, Kinro, Ginro, and Kaheku consume coal for its debris and make a mouthpiece, and Gen and Ruri make zinc carbon batteries. They all completion their errands and Senku assembles everything, making the first modded PDA in the new world. To the residents' disappointment, Senku advises them they require 2 phones for full usefulness. Subsequent to testing the mobile phone over a wire, Ruri tells Senku of one of the 100 tales, indicating towards a period case fixed in Byakuya's tombstone, a glass record. Byakuya expected to make a record to speak with Senku across centuries. Utilizing a phonograph he remade, Senku and the townspeople can hear the voices of the space travelers unexpectedly since petrification just as a melody from Lillian. The tune rouses the residents to reproduce the diversion of the cutting-edge world. With the help of attowning the mobile phone, Senku pronounces a stone battle against Tsukasa. Teiju and Yuzuriha anticipate for Senku to finish his piece of the arrangement as Yuzuriha forestalls Teiju from ruining their disguise. Tsukasa and Hyuga get ready for the impending assault on Ishigami Village. Thank you for watching. If you liked my video, please hit the like button, and also hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Until then, plus ultra.